Welcome back, coin collectors. In today's video, we're diving into 5 rare Lincoln cent errors that could be worth a fortune. If you've ever wondered whether that penny in your pocket is worth more than 1 cent, you're in the right place. We'll break down each error, how to identify it, and what it's worth in today's numismatic market. So grab your coin jars, and let's get started. The 1969 AD penny, like other pennies minted after 1968, was produced using a copper-plated zinc alloy rather than the traditional 95% copper. This change, which began in 1968, led to a slightly different strike quality compared to older copper pennies. The result was an increased likelihood of strike imperfections, and many 1969 AD pennies exhibit flaws. 1. 1969 D double die error. The 1969 D double die penny is one of the most famous and valuable errors from this year. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin becomes misaligned, leading to doubling of the design. The most valuable 1969 D double die errors show clear and prominent doubling on the Liberty and "In God We Trust" inscriptions. Value: typical examples can range from $500 to $2,000 depending on the clarity of the doubling. However, coins with strong doubling in key areas can be worth $5,000 to $10,000 or more. In rare instances, some have even surpassed $20,000 in auctions. 2. 1969 AD off-center strike error. An off-center strike error happens when the coin is not properly aligned during minting, causing part of the design to be missing. For the 1969 AD penny, coins with a misalignment of 25% or more are considered rare. Value: most off-center 1969 AD pennies are valued between $150 and $500. However, extreme examples with up to 50% of the design missing can be worth $1,000 to $2,500. In some extreme cases, coins with major portions missing can go for $5,000 or higher. 3. 1969 AD repunch mint mark, RPM. A repunch mint mark, RPM, occurs when the mint mark is struck more than once, causing a doubled or misaligned mint mark. RPMs on 1969 AD pennies are highly collectible. Value: a prominent RPM can typically be worth $100 to $500. However, well-defined RPMs, especially in high-grade condition, can sell for up to $1,000 or more, with exceptional examples reaching $2,000. 4. 1969 AD planchette errors, wrong metal. A planchette error occurs when a penny is struck on a planchette intended for another denomination. A 1969 AD penny struck on a wrong metal planchette, such as a dime or quarter planchette, is rare and valuable. Value: these errors can range from $500 to $5,000 or more. Coins struck on unusual planchets can surpass $10,000 depending on the type of planchette and coin condition. 5. 1969 AD die cracks and cuds. Die cracks and cuds occur when the minting die becomes damaged, leaving imperfections on the coin. These errors can add value, particularly when located in prominent parts of the design. Value: coins with die cracks or cuds can range from $50 to $300, but more prominent errors can be worth $1,000 or more. Conclusion: the 1969 AD Lincoln cent, while common, can be extremely valuable when it features one of these rare errors. Coins with errors can range in value from hundreds to thousands of dollars, with the most valuable examples reaching well over $10,000. If you come across a 1969 AD penny with one of these high-value errors, it could be a highly profitable find. The 1972 Lincoln cent was minted as part of the U.S. penny series, featuring a portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. The coin has a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighs 3.11 grams, and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters with a plain edge. 1. 1972 double die obverse, DDO. The 1972 double die obverse is the most famous error associated with this coin. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing doubling of the design. The most valuable examples show clear doubling on key areas like the Liberty and "In God We Trust" inscriptions, as well as the date. Value: a 1972 Lincoln cent with a double die obverse can range in value from $200 to $600, depending on the clarity of the doubling. Coins with strong doubling in key areas like Liberty or In God We Trust can sell for $1,000 or more. In exceptional condition, these coins can be worth upwards of $2,000. 2. 1972 Off-Center Strike Error. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, resulting in part of the design being cut off. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin. Value: a 1972 Lincoln cent with an off-center strike of around 25% can be worth $50 to $150. Extreme examples with 50% or more of the design missing can reach $500 to $1,000, with the most dramatic examples possibly fetching over $2,000. 3. 1972 Repunched Mint Mark, RPM. A repunched mint mark, RPM, occurs when the mint mark is struck more than once, leading to a doubled or misaligned mint mark. The 1972 Lincoln cent is known to have several RPM errors, particularly with its D's mint mark. Value: a well-defined RPM can be worth $100 to $500, depending on the clarity of the mint mark. Coins with a distinct doubling can reach $1,000 or more. 4. 1972 Planchette Errors. A planchette error occurs when a penny is struck on a planchette meant for a different denomination, such as a dime or quarter planchette. Value: planchette errors on a 1972 penny can range from $500 to $2,000, depending on the type of planchette used. Coins struck on rare planchets can be worth over $5,000 in some cases. 5. 1972 Die Cracks and Cuds. Die cracks and cuds are minting errors caused by damaged dies, creating raised lines or lumps on the coin. These errors can add value, especially when they occur on prominent areas. Value: a 1972 penny with a die crack or cud can be worth between $50 and $200, while larger errors can push the price to $500 or more. Conclusion: the 1972 Lincoln cent offers collectors a variety of valuable errors. The most sought after is the double die obverse, but off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and planchette errors also add significant value. Depending on the error and condition, these coins can be worth anywhere from $50 to over $2,000, with some rare examples fetching much more. The 1983 Lincoln cent was minted during a time when the US was transitioning to a different composition for pennies. In 1982, the US Mint began to replace the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc composition with a more cost-effective copper-plated zinc composition, which became the standard for pennies from that point onward. This change aimed to reduce the cost of producing pennies, as copper prices had risen sharply. 1. 1983 Copper Penny. One of the most valuable and sought-after 1983 pennies is the rare copper penny that was mistakenly struck on a copper planchette, rather than the copper-plated zinc planchette that was intended. This error is very rare, as most of the 1983 pennies were struck using the new composition. Value: a 1983 copper penny can be worth $10,000 to $20,000 or more, depending on its condition and provenance. This error is one of the highest value mistakes in the 1983 series. 2. 1983 Double Die Obverse, DDO. The double die obverse, DDO, error on the 1983 Lincoln cent occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing certain parts of the design, such as Liberty and In God We Trust, to appear doubled. This doubling is highly visible in certain examples and increases the coin's value. Value: a well-defined 1983 DDO coin can range from $100 to $300 in typical conditions, but coins with clear, prominent doubling can reach $1,000 or more in exceptional condition. Extremely well-struck examples can even exceed $2,000. 3. 1983 Off-Center Strike Error. An off-center strike happens when the coin is improperly aligned on the die, leading to part of the design being cut off. The more severe the off-center error, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Value: a 1983 off-center strike of around 25% misalignment could be worth between $50 and $150. However, more extreme errors, with 50% or more of the design missing, can sell for $500 to $1,000 or even higher. The most dramatic off-center errors might fetch $2,000 or more. 4. 1983 Repunched mint mark, RPM. A repunched mint mark, RPM, occurs when the mint mark is struck multiple times, creating a doubled or misaligned mint mark. For the 1983 Lincoln cent, particularly those with the D mint mark, RPMs are a relatively common error but still add value. Value: a clear 1983 RPM coin can be worth $50 to $250 depending on the clarity of the mint mark. In some cases, coins with well-defined doubling can fetch up to $500 or more. Conclusion: the 1983 Lincoln cent is a relatively common coin, but certain errors make it extremely valuable. The rare 1983 copper penny, struck on a copper planchet, is the highest value error, with coins potentially worth $10,000 or more. Other valuable errors like the double die obverse, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks can also command significant premiums, ranging from $50 to over $2,000, depending on the rarity and condition of the coin. Collectors should be on the lookout for these high-value 1983 pennies. The 2014 AD Lincoln cent is a modern coin minted at the Denver Mint as part of the U.S. Penny series. It features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, it weighs 2.5 grams, has a 19.05 mm diameter, and a plain edge. The coin marks a continuation of the long-standing Lincoln cent tradition. 1. Double die obverse, DDO. A double die obverse, DDO, is one of the most sought-after errors. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing parts of the design, typically Liberty and In God We Trust, to appear doubled. The clearer and stronger the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. Value: a 2014 DDDO penny can be worth between $50 and $200, with strong doubling possibly pushing the value up to $500 or more. In exceptional cases, especially when the doubling is very prominent, the value can exceed $1,000. 2. Off-center strike error. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, resulting in part of the design being cut off. The more severe the misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Value: a 2014 AD off-center strike with around 25% of the design missing can range from $50 to $150. More extreme off-center errors, with 50% or more of the design missing, can reach values between $200 and $1,000. In rare cases, extremely dramatic off-center errors can fetch over $2,000. 3. Repunched mint mark, RPM. A repunched mint mark, RPM, occurs when the mint mark, in this case, the SD's mint mark, is struck more than once, resulting in a doubled or misaligned mint mark. These errors are sought after by collectors, especially when the doubling is clear and visible. Value: a RPM can be worth between $50 and $250, depending on the clarity of the mint mark. Coins with prominent doubling can be worth upwards of $500. 4. Die cracks and cuds. Die cracks and cuds are errors caused by damage or wear on the minting dies. A die crack appears as a raised line, while a cud is a raised lump of metal. These types of errors can add value, particularly when they occur on prominent areas of the coin, such as Lincoln's portrait or the date. Value: a penny with a die crack or cud can be worth between $50 and $200, with larger or more prominent errors fetching $500 or more. 5. Planchet errors. Planchet errors occur when a coin is struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or improperly prepared. For example, a penny struck on a dime or quarter planchet would be a rare find. Value: planchet errors on the 2014 AD penny can be worth between $500 and $2,000, depending on the specific type of error and planchet used. Conclusion: while the 2014 AD Lincoln cent is generally a common coin, it can be valuable if it features certain errors. If you come across a 2014 AD penny with one of these rare errors, it could be worth far more than its face value. The 1984 Lincoln cent has several error varieties that are highly valuable to collectors. These errors are relatively rare, and they make certain 1984 pennies much more valuable than typical examples. 1. 1984 copper penny. One of the most valuable errors involving the 1984 Lincoln cent is the 1984 copper penny, which was mistakenly struck on a copper planchet instead of the copper-plated zinc planchet that was used for most pennies after 1982. This error is very rare and can be worth a significant amount. Value: a 1984 copper penny is extremely valuable and can fetch between $10,000 to $20,000 or more depending on the condition of the coin. 2. 1984 double die obverse, DDO. The 1984 double die obverse, DDO, is another sought-after error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing the design to be doubled. The most prominent doubling is usually seen on the Liberty and "In God We Trust" inscriptions. The more noticeable and well-defined the doubling, the more valuable the coin. Value: a 1984 DDO can be worth $100 to $500 in typical condition, with strong doubling potentially increasing the value to over $1,000. Coins in exceptional condition can sometimes sell for more than $2,000. 3. 1984 off-center strike error. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, resulting in part of the design being cut off. The more extreme the off-center error, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Value: a 1984 off-center strike with 25% of the design missing could be worth between $50 and $150. Extreme errors with 50% or more of the design missing can reach $500 to $1,000 or even higher, depending on the severity of the error. In rare cases, off-center strike coins with more than 75% of the design missing can fetch prices above $2,000. 4. 1984 repunched mint mark, RPM. A repunched mint mark, RPM, occurs when the mint mark is struck more than once, creating a doubled or misaligned mint mark. The D to mint mark is the most commonly found on 1984 pennies with this error. Value: a well-defined 1984 RPM can be worth $50 to $250, depending on the clarity of the mint mark. In rare cases, if the doubling is clear and noticeable, it can push the value upwards of $500 or more. 5. 1984 die cracks and cuds. Die cracks and cuds occur when the dies used for striking the coins become damaged. A die crack appears as a raised line, and a cud forms when a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a raised lump of metal on the coin. Coins with significant die cracks or cuds on prominent features can attract collectors. Value: a 1984 penny with a die crack or cud can be worth between $50 and $200 in typical condition, but larger or more dramatic errors can increase the value to $500 or more. Conclusion: the 1984 Lincoln cent has several high-value errors that make it a collectible coin. If you come across a 1984 penny with one of these rare errors, it could be worth a small fortune.